All right, guys, here we're going to talk about the remake of The Fog.
So glad you mentioned the word remake, because going into this, I was like, "This is that old movie." Well, first I was like, "This is The Mist," and then before I even clicked play, I was like, "Oh no, like there's multiple movies about like condensation or something. This is different. This is that old movie." I thought to myself, and then. Real quick, just to tell this part of like my personal story, the first scene, you might think it's an old movie. And then it like cuts to a broad daylight helicopter shot where Fall Out Boy is playing. And I'm like, not an old movie, or whatever.
So the original, I think, is from 1978. If I'm
I didn't know how old the original was.
And this one, I think, is 2005.
Yeah.
This stars Superman himself from Smallville. It's got Selma Blair.
Selma Blair. Several character actors whose names I forget that played old people or whatever.
One of the girls, I think, from Lost who tried her hand at movies and didn't really succeed.
Is the one main girl or
is the blonde? Yeah.
Yeah, she was in something else too. I saw on her sheet or whatever. Yeah, she made a few movies. So what would you say happens here? What I would say happens here is that fog brings more than low visibility to a boating town somewhere that has dark secrets in its past. And
I would call
everything
this.
Goes to hell.
What would this is like your like stereotypical movie.
Okay. I'm very nervous about what you're going to think about this movie.
I did not like this movie very
Okay,
much.
good.
It's very much like just hitting beats. It's stereotypes. A lot of coincidence. A lot of like big names that aren't necessarily playing good characters, or even characters that have a lot going on.
Yeah.
So was Tom Welling? Is that Superman's name?
I don't know his name at all.
I forget his real name. So like I like him in general. I think he's decent. In this, he plays such a non-character.
I was gonna say like I thought he was okay in this, but he doesn't really do anything in this.
No, it's such a non-character. And really all of them are that, where you're like, why are we even focused on these people? Why are they doing that?
What is happening?
What a series of events. It's all such coincidental shit.
What this reminded me of, it feels, because it's made during this time period, there was like 13 Ghosts, and there was that movie with Famke Jensen, the Haunted House, Haunted Hill, right?
Haunted House is a good movie, though.
Those are like good versions of like this same thing, right? Where if you make a movie, like, I'm not a crazy person. I'm not like, wait, how can it do that if it did this before? And why didn't she go through the door and go on that? Like, that's fine if it's like good. I can like go along with
this.
Things,
This is
right?
Nothing Matters the movie.
Yes, exactly. So
because
many things
everything is just
like,
because we could. I wrote this scene. Here's a thing. Oh, look, I can kill you instantly. Oh, look, I did this.
No, things happen, and you're like, wait, did the fog do that? There's no fog here. What's happening? What's going on? Did the fog crash the computer? How can the fog crash the computer? What's happening? What? And then it doesn't matter later. Like so many things, I was like, okay, well, we're learning more about this curse. It's not just fog. I'm learning. Okay, it makes sense. Okay, I'm learning. And then things just kept happening or not mattering.
So
and
the loose plot of the movie is years ago we have a leper colony that's trying to find a new home. They were once a thriving trading post. They have lots of money, but they don't have a place to live at the moment. They got it from the Chinese. They have all this gold and valuable things, and they find this island, and they're like, all right, we're gonna make the deal. We'll buy half this island, and this is where we'll live our days. It'll be fine.
Yeah.
Some profiteering, heads of council here see this as an opportunity to get this money to make their town into a thriving thing, and they're taking it all. They
double cross the leper colony, and they kill them all.
They're building a blaze.
Yeah, they
their boat ablaze.
And this all is told through a series of painstaking flashbacks. I'm just gonna start throwing in negative adjectives now that I know you didn't like the movie either.
No, it's not a good movie. It's certainly not a good
movie. With horror, I can't tell.
No, and like
because sometimes people are like, "Oh, it was great."
So flash forward, I don't know, hundreds of years. The bag of gold is somehow perfectly intact and gets hooked on an anchor, breaking the seal and letting out all the demons.
It gets disturbed by one of the ancestors of the people.
Everyone in the movie is an ancestor of the people.
I'm like, is that a part of it? Could anything have happened? Could like a fish have done something?
Yeah.
What's happening? And they come back for their revenge from beyond the grave.
Yes.
And that manifests itself in a bunch of creative ways. I just want to get out of the way right now so that we don't miss it later. It turns out, once they show you the like full flashback, that literally everything that has ever happened in or around the fog is a callback to something that happened on the boat that night, including things that were said and things that happened that weren't even things that should like, it was insane to me. Like,
Yes.
why they would do that makes no sense.
Nothing in this movie makes sense. So like the fog comes, it's them trying to get revenge on their double cross, and then things go wildly out of control. So like from the beginning, things are like what the fuck? Because so they're getting away with their goal. This is still in the flashback that opens the movie, and like a monster like jumps up and grabs the guy and pulls him into the water, and you're like, who was that?
Does he? What?
You don't remember this?
No.
When they're the four of them are in the boat, they're like there's something in the water. We've run ashore. Like they're on like a reef or something, and he looks over and he gets yanked into the water.
That was the earlier flashback. Yeah, and then they show you the full thing, and that doesn't make any sense anymore.
No.
Yeah, awesome.
And I'm like, well, what was that? Because none of them made it off the boat.
Right.
So who did that?
Right. Was that just a burned person who survived though? But then how could he be haunting them if he didn't die in the thing?
I don't know. So from the beginning, we're like, what the hell's happening? Doesn't make any sense. Cool. And then we flash forward to just a series of deaths from these ghost fog.
Well, the first thing
lepers.
that happens is like on the ship, they go out to party, and the fog rolls in.
Fog rolls in unexpectedly against the wind, and
what
it
kind
kills,
of fog moves against the wind, Selma Blair?
It kills everybody except for the only character I liked in the movie.
Oh. T-Dog.
I knew his name, and I forget what his name is.
His name.
He's in things, but I'll show a picture right now. You'll see him. He's the only one who survives because he went into the fridge, and the fridge
has a seal.
The
on it
fog couldn't get into the fridge.
Right.
Fridges aren't airtight.
Nope, has a seal. There's a
Like cold air is being shot into them and like cycled out. Like that's how things work.
Nope.
Like,
no, you would think. I know. I totally know. Otherwise, like, how would that? The pressure would just. Something, right? Yeah.
Regardless, like they can't get into cold. That's fine. I don't care too much.
That's too cold for the fog. It became
But
water.
there's such this weird mix of some people are just killed, some people are killed and like their bodies are doctored up, some people come back to life being zombie things. Some people are like burned alive, some people are turned to ash, some people are leperized.
Yeah, so for a minute it was like, oh, okay, so the fog gives you like super burning leprosy because a bunch of lepers were burned. Like, okay, that I can get with, right? But yeah, it can also kill girls off camera and throw their bodies through windows. It can also throw knives at people because that happened on the boat that night, right? Sure. It can also reach up through the sink and grab you because that happened on the boat that night. Someone reached up through something else and grabbed them. Like so you know, so much of it. Like I feel like when they
I just want to start real quick. A P-trap, which is on the bottom of a sink, is designed to not let air through.
Yep.
That is its main function. So if we have to say anything stops them, that would do it.
That would 100%
It did not.
do it.
Just saying. Continue.
100%, and like you could do that, I think, with like so many of the things here. I forget what I was going to say now.
The importance of Selma Blair's child in this is ridiculous. Where like she's like there's an issue. It must be coming from my kid. Gets on the radio. Somebody, my son's in trouble, and he is in trouble. And our main character hears it, and he drives over and like saves it. The amount of car crashes and flips and stuff. When Selma Blair's car flips and goes into the water, and there's like a visible demon ghost thing in the water.
Her.
I'm like, what is even happening? It touched her. If it can touch you and turn you into a leper and die immediately, why did it fail at drowning you?
Yeah, why not? And she just like moves her foot like it's a real person. You shouldn't be able to do that to a ghost, right?
You would think not.
It should just be able to. Like,
I've never met a ghost. I don't know what their grip strength is. It's possible.
But for so much of this, like almost anything in the movie, you could play this game where
you're just
like,
protected by plot or not.
Where you're like, well, so like you like close the door and like the windows, but it broke windows before. Why can't it just break these windows?
At one point, it breaks glass and shoots it through a reverend. So you're never safe unless it wants you to be safe.
And there's there's a handful of like artifacts that are like washed up that different people have.
Yes.
And you think for a while like who has which one and why is going to come into play or something like that. Like this is the definition of of what people complain about in horror movies, where they're like,
Yeah.
like, why did you play like dramatic jump scare music when she dropped the camera? Did the fog do that? Did the fog make her drop the camera? Am I to believe that? What happened?
Not since The Shining has there been an ending that explained less and caused more questions.
Not since The Shining, who uses the exact same. I wrote down, my notes say the ending is a Shining old photograph.
But no, but for even worse, let's start just before that.
There's so much to say.
Our ending is we find out that the main girl is actually reincarnation of the guy's wife.
Is that
because
the thing?
at first I'm like I haven't seen it in a while. I've seen this before. I don't know if you have.
No.
And I was like, wait a minute. So.
Wait
all
a
right,
minute.
what am I to process here?
Was she a ghost the whole time?
Well, yeah, it's like
is that why she had to come back to the island because she could never leave? Is this some
well, I'm like, is she
American Horror Story
a ghost?
stuff?
Is she a descendant of the bad pirate guy? Like, what's that? And then I'm like, no, it's simply and dumb as possible that she is a reincarnation of the wife of that guy, and now they're back together. And I'm like, what?
That doesn't make
it does
any
not
sense.
answer anything. It
No.
doesn't solve anything. She also blinked into being a ghost.
Yes.
Where I'm like, she was alive. Like, what?
So-
who wrote this? An idiot?
Okay, we could spend a half an hour on like why this doesn't make sense. Okay, she can't be a descendant of that person because they're
She's not.
No, not him. Like the woman, right?
No, she's not.
What do you mean?
She's
a reincarnation?
She's definitely just a reincarnation of his wife. She's not a descendant because everyone on the boat died.
I know.
And
That's
she's the daughter of the other person, and they never had an affair or whatever.
No, like that was going to be my point. Was like
that's why it's so dumb.
It can't be because that boat is from somewhere else and it never landed and they never had children.
Yes.
So. Do we think they don't even introduce the idea of being a reincarnated person of something?
It is very
right?
simply that she is the reincarnation, and it is not explained.
Is that canon? Can we get the
I
writer
would
of this?
stake everything on that, and
Yeah.
it is so dumb.
Yeah. So
this movie, every
what
part
I
of
was
it is just
hoping for-
an excuse and reason to have these stupid scenes, and they loosely string them together, and it's just oh god, it's so it's. Let for one more moment. That's what I consider the dumbest part of the movie. The second dumbest part is when she's talking to Weatherman Dan and the power goes out and it's like the power out, but not to my laptop
batteries.
And I'm like, all right, so let's just unpack this for a moment. The power went out, but the laptop power didn't go out. But somehow there's still internet.
I was gonna say, yeah, obviously.
It's still working.
Obviously, he has an air card and it's a satellite hookup. Duh.
Obviously,
don't be ridiculous.
This was the first time that woman ever discovered what a webcam was. This is what year? It's
yeah.
It doesn't make sense either because it's like 2005 or something.
It only makes sense if you have plans in your movie to do something really important where they have to be able to see each other. Which it like so many things like that where I'm like, okay, this by itself is not the worst thing ever. But the fact that when you like there's no reason for this, there's no payoff for this, there's no point to having this be like this.
Now, when you say no point, like the fog killing all the people that weren't involved in this, I understand the descendants, but what did that old lady nanny do?
They wanted to reclaim the town, Stefan, and in order to do that, they had to kill everyone and then disappear.
But they didn't even try to do
no,
that.
They disappear at the end. There's
literally
no point in getting your revenge on a whole town and then leaving. I don't know.
And leaving with a girl, like.
Which, again, if you had set something up about, and he was separated from his, from his love and the whole thing and had a thing and then had her talk about, oh, grandma was from there or some weird, if you did something, I would be like, okay, I'd be better than I am.
I hated taking the camera. Take this camera. This could get him out. Why not give it right to the police? It could get him out. Right now.
I know.
Like if you would have set up a thing earlier where they hate him and they'll use any excuse to get him dead or something, I'd be like, okay, yeah, get that evidence to the press. But they're just normal cops, and that was
they're just doing their job.
My first thought was sort of like, oh man, I hope nothing happens to that because that would be really.
Like that guy.
What is his name? Is it D-Ray? I forget his name. But I was just like, oh my god, when it dropped in the water, I'm like, he's going to jail forever.
No,
and what do you do after this? What happens now the ghosts are gone?
Everyone's
and
fine.
people are died.
No.
What do you do to explain this?
No, this girl's missing forever. The girl that was hysterical around the dead bodies, around the thing, and
Yep.
you're and she's your girlfriend, and your best friend's on trial for those like murders, and you did whatever you did, and there's dead bodies. There's like a dead priest. There's a dead like mayor of the town, councilman guy. There's a bunch of dead people, right? But there was fog, so everyone's like, nah, man, it was the fog. And Selma Blair says, we're not sure what happened that night. I can't believe I'm reading this voiceover to patch up your horrible movie.
So obviously, her and Superman get together. He
Yeah.
fathers that son.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Did they actually show that, or did I make that up? Does that
Made
happen?
that up. Doesn't happen.
Oh, no, that has to happen. That's
No.
perfect. I wrote down, like, 12 minutes into the movie, Selma Blair is awesome, and I would have dumped that dumb blonde bitch in a second for her.
Do you love the opening when we first introduced her? It's our main, like, our lead hero dude, and he's like about to pick up some random skank on
Yep.
the side of the road. He's like, hey, oh shit, I knew it was you.
Yeah.
Why
No.
is he such a dirtbag? We know that he's cheated on her 3 times with Selma Blair, and he was going for random tail on the road. Like, this is
Yep.
such a like there's
Again,
nothing redeeming in this movie.
If you did it for a reason, like that's what and like I like forget the thing I was going to say earlier, but like you could say it about anything. We could say it about this, right? I kind of like the line, I am kind of a creep. Oh God, what? And like the stupid thing, thing. If it comes into play later, if we do something, right?
Yeah.
Because she was the only one who saw the evidence, but then she lost the evidence, and then she was in a room alone with corpses, and now one of them's on, like on the floor, right? Oh, this bitch is crazy. Oh no, right? And like what? What comes of that? At one point, she says, "I know how this looks, but you have to believe me." And then there's nothing else to address that. There's no angle being played on there. We just had these things, right? And the corpse reanimates just to say a line that the guy on the boat said. Like,
Yes.
it makes no sense. We can only reenact this one night on the boat unless we're giving the guy the contract and setting him on fire randomly.
No, it's very weird. And his uncle, the Superman's uncle, who's on the plate, who has like the dogs.
That's his uncle? Damn. Okay.
Yeah, he says
Sure.
it was his uncle at one point, and the boy who went out on the boat where they all got killed was his cousin.
Yeah.
Do we ever see him get bit in the face?
I don't know why he has leprosy. No, I have no idea.
Because I
What's
took it
wrong
as
with his
something
face?
like, yeah, he definitely had leprosy. And he was
Yes.
getting it worse, but they don't show like where that ends, and they don't show what happened to get it, right?
I don't think so.
I thought it was something with his dog, because like his dog is like dead at one point.
Oh yeah.
And I was like, and the other 2 dogs are barking, and I'm like, oh, one of the dogs must have bit him in the face or something.
Yeah,
But they
must
don't, I
have
don't
grabbed him.
feel like they ever made reference to it, or I
Yeah.
somehow missed it, which I don't think I did.
If you missed it, I missed it too. I just remember he had a bandage on. I was like,
yeah, and it
that's
was like getting worse.
that's gonna be something.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then it was almost something.
No, this movie is such a disappointment for having so much. Like the budget it had, which I imagine was that because of the stars it had at the time, and the actual stars that it got. These are people I really like, and I'm like, this could have been great. But you bungled the fuck out of it by just giving it like no script.
It's
Like,
shocking.
Nothing. Like make your villains cohesive at least. These are those scenarios where I would put a gun in my mouth because there's no winning. Honestly, what do you
Yeah.
do? You
Well,
have you're fighting ghosts. You can't
win.
win. There's no boundaries for them, and they have limitless power, it seems.
Clearly, you wait until dawn, and then it's just over for no reason.
Would already be dead.
That's the thing. No, you could just hide or drive. Apparently, I don't know. Like everyone's not dead. There's a whole epilogue where she's like, "Man, that sucked," and like goes through
But
the
it's
thing.
inexplicable. Nobody
Yeah.
died through no one lived rather through their own actions or intelligence. And I don't like that in a movie. In a movie, there should be a reason people lived. People should be lived because, like, they should be doing things that are intelligent to live. If they
Yeah.
do things that are dumb, they should die. But when there's there's no line as to what is smart. Not being on this island.
Well, right? People know about the dark history of the thing. We have the ancestors. It builds up to something. We have to go back out there. Like the ghost ship is still docked where it was docked originally.
Yeah.
We have to go back. You, me, her, him. We have to go and like reenact the like thing and set it right or something.
Maybe they're trying to get their gold back.
Yeah,
like anything.
We have to break the curse. We have to do like whatever. Maybe it's not the gold. It's like one specific thing that's in that weird museum museum where everyone brings stuff to like historical
Yeah.
site, and then four of us have to go out and like redo this thing, and now they're all ghosts, and he's like Captain Jack Sparrow, and he's all like like a skeleton on the ghost boat, and then it all ends, and like there's one or two things where it's like, wait, no, that that did happen, but no one believes them, but everything's fine again, like and then like the fog like pulls back out or something.
No,
right?
it was just
That's how you like. That's so easy. If someone was like, "It's a movie about the fog," they double crossed some lepers a long time ago, and now they're ghost pirate revenge is happening. I'd be like, "Oh, that's here's something you could do." I wouldn't be like, how does this resolve? She's a ghost. Why?
no, just how
could still do
powerful
that.
they were and their numbers and what they could do
Yeah.
and. I need rules. I need something.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like they could have slowly learned more and more. Like even had the old guy who's like, "Oh yeah, 1872," and like you could have learned more about the history and learned more about the curse and figured it out, put something together, right? They could have been going to get the artifacts back or something like that, or like destroy the people that had
Or
the
throw
artifacts.
them back into the ocean or something.
Yeah, because like you stole those things and like we want them back or something like that. Like that's always what happens in all these movies to the point where it's cliche. Like someone ends up like, "Oh, I gave my daughter this necklace and now this monster's chasing us." "Oh yeah, the necklace was from the museum and it fell off the thing," and like you do something. And like like you don't have to spend a lot of time on that, but put that in your movie so that I can be saying, "Oh my God, put the necklace back, put put the artifact back, say the curse, kill yourself to like save everyone else." Like there has to be some end game besides just then the girl leaves as if that's what they wanted and that satisfied them and ended
out of the blue.
curse when there was no setup, I think, for that at all. She just has dreams. About what?
No, this is a fail movie for me.
Oh yeah,
it's not a pass. I'd give it like a 4.
Okay, I might go like 3. It
was shot well,
yeah,
and the effects were decent. I liked the actor, so like those are the things the movie had going for it. But those almost make it fall much harder because then it didn't turn out with a good project. Like I've watched movies that cost like $700 that I liked a lot better than this.
I know,
and that's almost disgusting.
Yeah, I think my gut says 3 just because of how like it was like painful to watch. I'm so glad too, because like you're the horror movie guy and I'm not the horror movie guy, right? So I was afraid you'd be like, "Oh yeah, hitting all the things, classic."
It missed every
dumb
base.
thing. I know, and that's perfect. So I feel better about myself because I'm watching it like, am I just a snob? Do I need every horror movie to have like a specific set of things, or else I hate it? Like, what's wrong with me?
I would settle for even if it just had an ending that made sense.
Yeah.
Even if the ending was as shitty as like Daylight hit and they were gone, I would have it would have been like, well, it's 1,000 times better because this is the classic like when they show too much, except you're just shoveling shit in my face. And I'm like, I can only take so much shit, bro.
Too much shit in my face. Yeah. So that's the overall point, I think, is that there's like a tolerance level with horror and comedy and certain sci-fi, certain genres where it's like, okay, yeah, once we found out what that there was no ghost and it was just a like killer, then the thing 14 minutes in where like the thing moves, you're like, how did a person do that though? It's fine though. You're kind of fine with it.
There's
right?
a lot of just
here
like,
though it just kept stacking like everything was like that where you're like
100 people wrote 100 different scenes and they said, you know what, film it.
The fog. It's basically like a smoke machine monster killing everyone.
Yeah, no. So final thoughts on this is like, don't see it. It's not good.
I agree. I guess we average like a 3.5 or something.
Yeah, I'll go 3.5. I'll say that's fine.
Interesting.
Yeah.
All right.
Let us know in the comments below what you think about it. Don't die in a fire, and we'll see you next time.
Hello, internets. I just love watching JustDaggers. If you've enjoyed this video as much as I have, click that subscribe button. Peace out, homies.